Hello, so 2 days ago, fans of Mass Effect celebrated N7 Day, and as always, Bioware prepared some content for us to enjoy. This year, they dropped a very short teaser introducing what possibly will be Mass Effect 5's protagonist, or perhaps antagonist. If you haven't already seen the teaser, I'm going to show it to you right now and follow it up with some information and theories regarding the video and the upcoming IP. So here's the teaser. Let me start this analysis by telling you how the video was shared by Bioware in the first place, because it might have to do with who is the mysterious person behind that suit. So the whole teaser was divided into 3 chunks. By that I mean 3 video pieces. First one was called Epsilon. Epsilon is a 5th letter of the Greek alphabet and is used to denote the 5th in position. So in this case, it might have to do with how the next Mass Effect game is gonna be a 5th game in the franchise. The second video was called Oculon 2819 Defiance. Interestingly enough, Oculon used to be the name for the Citadel. If I remember correctly, Bioware was also considering calling Mass Effect games Oculon instead, but they ended up going with the name we know and use now. The third piece of the video showing a mysterious figure is called Post Nebula. Let's go back to the second chunk though, because I would like to point some interesting things out. I think the word Defiance is no coincidence and it's a huge indication of who will be the next game's protagonist. So to understand the word Defiance, I will share a video that Bioware dropped on the fans to decrypt and have fun with in 2022 during an N7 Day. Here's a footage. Thankfully, the audio has been decrypted and turns out that we can hear Liara communicating with possibly a Geth. That's what a decrypted soundtrack sounds like.
The Council will be furious. Exactly. The Council will be furious. Although they should know by now not to underestimate. It seems differently. How did we miss that? Exactly. The Council will be furious. Although they should know by now not to underestimate human differences. Twice they must be How did we miss this? Exactly.
Human defiance, she says. So considering the third piece was called Defiance, I think the person behind the suit is human. Who is it? I'm hoping it's actually female Commander Shepard. Why? There's a few reasons. Seems like the canon ending for Mass Effect 5 will be the one called Destruction, and in that ending we can see Shepard draw a breath from under the rubble. I have more evidence for this idea, so in order to find the third piece of the whole teaser, fans had to locate a website link, and the link was shared in a very interesting way. Bioware posted 2 images. First one was an illustration of Eden Prime. For those who don't remember, Eden Prime is the first mission of Commander Shepard. The second image was an image of female Shepard in the company of EDI and Garrus. At first you might think that there's nothing special about these pieces. Bioware shares fan art all the time, right? However, it turns out that within those images were hidden parts of a QR code that, when connected together, would take you to an electronics art site with a countdown clock, and once that countdown hits 0, you would see the last piece of the video, showing this mysterious person. The art used to hide the QR codes are strongly related to Shepard, which in my head is another piece of evidence that we are gonna see him here again. Anyway, Keeping in mind all that information, let's analyze the video dropped on N7 Day in 2023, so this year. I'll brighten it up for you guys so you can see the scene more clearly. So right off the bat, you can see on the left side there's a Krogan figure standing against the wall. Later on, you will also notice that the atmosphere seems to be tinted yellow, which was very characteristic of the atmosphere on Tuchanka, a Krogan homeworld. Okay, let's talk about some pieces of structure in the background. What's worth noting is that they are white, orange and black in color, just like the colors of Cerberus. Not just that, they are also same color as Mass Relay 7. Now, look at the planet that the relay is being built over. It's the same atmosphere color, so perhaps it is actually being built over Tuchanka. I'll go back to talking about relays later on. For now, just keep in mind these small details I'm pointing out now. Alright, I'm sure you already noticed the white and red N7 colors. They really stand out, but I want to make sure you actually see that this back piece is very similar to Shepard's N7 armor. Both the spinal pieces on the bottom and the lights on the upper back are just almost identical in style, maybe a bit modernized. This part got me extremely excited. This mysterious person is wearing a very interesting coat. I have to point out something about it. So recently Bioware decided to make a woman named Mary DeMarle a senior narrative director for Mass Effect 5. Personally, I could not be more excited because it's someone with a great reputation. Reason why I mention her is because she worked on Deus Ex Human Revolution, and as you can see, the coat worn by the protagonist of that game is so freaking similar to the one from the teaser. Hopefully that decision was a result of her influence. I also have to mention that the side of the helmet looked very much like the side of the helmet that Shepard used to wear. If you remember the trailer with Liara from 2020, she finds the circular piece of Shepard's helmet in a pile of snow. Finally, at the end, we can see this person exit the building towards most likely a ship. There's also someone standing outside, right here. When it comes to speculating who this person might be, there are a few options and ideas that are worth mentioning. So it would have to be someone shaped like a female human. The only three species that could potentially hide under that suit are Asari, human, and Drell. Let's entertain for a second the idea that we're looking at Liara T'Soni. It's been confirmed that she will be a part of the game, and in the trailer from 2020 she looked quite old, so she might be entering her matriarch stage of life. Hopefully you still remember her mother, Matriarch Benezia, and her mother, having had worn black clothes, made me wonder if it's perhaps Liara, who because of her age became a matriarch herself, and her outfit was inspired by Benezia's style, plus the fact that she is a shadow broker who needs to maintain anonymity. Not just that, you can also see that the armor has these unusual strip patterns on the arms. Same patterns can be seen on the armors of the Asari commandos. Plus the fact that this person is wearing heels, I'm sure you know it's a very Asari-like feature because this species is one gender only, so they're all females. Therefore, Asaris throughout all the game maintained a fairly feminine look. While making this video, I also have to make sure to share with you another image provided by Bioware on N7 Day this year. The most interesting aspect of it is the collapsed scene artistically displayed on the side of the coat of the new protagonist/antagonist. It still does not answer whether the game will take place in the Milky Way or in the Andromeda or in both, but it seems like we got yet another teaser suggesting that Angara will be in the new game. I'll zoom in on the part that possibly shows one. It's on the left. In the middle there's an Asari, possibly Liara, and if it is Liara, then the person in the coat armor is probably not her. On the right there's a Geth, who somewhat looks like a bodyguard for the Asari, and we know that Liara does communicate with Geths. Last thing I'm gonna surprise you with when it comes to this image is the corner of the clap, and it seems like there's a Turian standing there. I just zoomed in on him and it might be Garrus. Before I progress to talking about the Relay 7, I'll share my last thoughts on this particular piece of art. When you look at the chunk of the code that shows the clap, it almost looks like the Paragon symbol, except there's a lot of conflict between the blue and the red, suggesting that perhaps this person is actually an antagonist struggling with morals. If you know anything about Dragon Age, Solas, who is Dragon Age Inquisition's positive character, in Dragon Age 4 will be the main antagonist. So perhaps the same will happen with Mass Effect 5, where someone with good morals is gonna turn bad, but in their head it will be for a good reason. My friend also mentioned that this whole area looks like EDI's head. I'll remind you that EDI and Garrus were both in the art piece containing half of the QR code. The figure of this person is also very skinny, just like her, and maybe that's why Bioware did not make a male version of this character. It's not like they offered two alternative art pieces like they would do with Shepard. Lastly, let's go back to the relays. I want to make sure to bring up that it's been suggested that the Relay 7 might be used for traveling to new locations, so outside of the Milky Way. Also, Mike Gamble, who is the project director, shared this reply a couple days ago. He's not someone who throws fans off on purpose, so the connection between the Relay 7 and the teaser is there. Let's look back at the picture of the Relay 7. If you zoom in the corner you will see information about a company that seems to have something to do with deep space. Deep space is space in between the galaxies. It's almost completely dark. We know the Reapers came from there and that in the past the Geth connected 3 relays in order to observe both Andromeda and the deep space in almost real time, which means that there might be a way to travel quickly in between galaxies. So my theory is that Mass Effect 5 will take place in the Milky Way, but it feels like the new relays are gonna be built to travel between galaxies, or perhaps to the deep space if maybe Reapers are there or Geths are exploring that area. Every game needs some kind of antagonist, a threat you have to defeat. Not sure what ultimately is going to be in this game, but perhaps the person from the teaser has something to do with it. I will relate to Dragon Age 4 again and mention that the antagonist, Solas, was introduced before we learned who is gonna be the protagonist. That's it for now. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you like this content and you'd like to see more of it, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps my channel greatly.